retirees. But first, when we want to know what's going on in the nation's capital, we go to the man in the 3rd Congressional District of West Virginia, Congressman Evan Jenkins. Welcome back.
It's great to be here, Bray. Thank you.
So on Friday, you were actually in Morgantown, right?
I sure was.
Tell us about that.
It was a tremendous event organized by the UMWA. Cecil Roberts, he had his leadership team. He had Congressman McKinley, myself, Joe Manchin, Shelley Moore Capito couldn't be there. I think she's actually presiding on the floor on Friday. But there's legislation that we're working on. But probably most importantly, there were over 1,000 coal miners, their wives, their spouses, retirees, fighting tooth and nail to make sure that with the recent bankruptcies that we honor the pension and health care benefits that they've been promised. And this was the first of 5 events that they're going to hold all throughout coal country in Kentucky and all the way to Alabama.
So, Congressman, one of the things that I don't understand as a businessman, when you make yourself an obligation as a company, it seems to me that you're going to hold yourself true to that. And if it's a long-term financial one, you would put money aside. I certainly believe under the generally accepted accounting rules today, they have to go ahead and expense the obligations they make. Why is it that the bankruptcy courts come in, and when it's all said and done, these retirees are the ones that lose more than anybody?
You know, I really feel for those retirees, and you're exactly right. When you look at the situation we are in, we have over 100,000 people. There were 1,000 people that showed up on Friday, 100,000 people that are participating who rely upon their benefits, pension benefits and health care benefits. I served as the pensions chair in the West Virginia legislature. We had the teachers' retirement, public employees, and there's really 3 parts to that. There's the employer contribution, the employee contribution, and the interest. And then actuarially, if you know and properly account for what the value of those benefits are moving forward, you need to make sure that you're putting in the money today to pay the benefits later. And tragically, they're coming up way short. Now, part of the problem is, and this is a stunning number, there are 12 retirees that are receiving benefits for each single one active coal miner today. So if you didn't put it all aside at the outset, the numbers just don't work today.
Well, and we saw that happen with the automobile industry back in 08, 09 when they went bankrupt. A lot of benefits were lost. We saw it at Century Aluminum up in Ravenswood. It seems to me, I just, for the life of me, don't understand why our laws, and I think this is 100% Congress could do this.
Yes.
You pass a law that says if somebody makes an obligation, now you can argue whether they should make the obligation or not. That's a negotiating table item.
And it is.
But if they make the promise, then the company has to ensure payment of it by putting the money aside. And so if it takes you 10 years to qualify for a pension, each year you put in 1/10 of whatever.
Yeah, and that's why you've got, candidly, a bipartisan group of Republicans and Democrats, along with the UMWA. David McKinley, the congressman from 1st Congressional District, has a bill. Absolutely. He's the lead sponsor, and I'm right there on the top line with him as a co-sponsor. This is a fix to the problem. It is supported in a bipartisan way. It's stunning. This is a 7-page bill. This 7-page bill will protect the benefits, the pension and health care for 100,000 people. And what it does is just take money. Already, the pension program is getting money from what's called the Abandoned Mine Land Program. Already, the pension program getting money from that source. What this does is take some of the interest moving forward that goes into the what's called the AML and dedicate it to take care of our pensioners.
Well, so to me, though, this is that sounds like a great fix for this sector.
Yeah, you're worried about how we got in the mess in the first place, making sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think we need to come up with some way to address. I mean, it shouldn't be that complicated a law that you know, for any worker in any business where they have a contractual obligation made by the company, whether it's pension or health benefits, whatever it is, and that's accounted for, or you don't want people out there building their retirements and their future based on false promises.
Yeah.
It's just not right.
Well, as pensions chair at the state level, we had a policy that we are not going to consider any sort of pension increases in terms of benefits without an obligation and commitment to pay for it.
Well, I would like to ask you to pursue that.
I'm a proud sponsor of it.
And this is great, and we need to help the miners, and we need to do that now. We're going to talk to Cecil Roberts here in just a minute. But the great thing is this is a start, but it can't be the finish, because there's going to be more bankruptcies, there's going to be more unforeseen calamities, and we got to be ready.
I like to say this is a process and not a conclusion.
Right, because we don't want this to somehow get shifted to the burden of the taxpayers, either at the federal level or
no
the
taxpayer money in this. This is all taken from an existing set aside.
All right, so let me ask you a question. Do you see anything changing in Washington in any way to change the EPA's what appears to me to be just a 100% effort to shut down the coal?
There's no question it's a 100% effort to shut down. We are fighting the war on coal, and as you've been so kind to give me the opportunity on this show, as a member of the Appropriations Committee and the subcommittee, only 11 of us that handle the budget of the EPA, I cut $1 billion out of the money for the next year. Hopefully it will become law. To cut out the war on coal effort. We demanded Gina McCarthy to come down to West Virginia, and when she didn't, we took coal miners to Washington. So we are trying to use that power, that purse, to make investments where we need to, but also try to jerk them back into a more appropriate behavior and stop this regulatory overreach that's so devastating.
What about some efforts in Congress to fund, and we only got a minute left, but to fund clean research? I mean real research, so that we can lead, so that WVU and University of Kentucky, Ohio State, whatever, we all get together.
And we actually are putting more money into the clean coal research efforts. So we're trying to make an investment, just as I said a moment ago, where it can make a positive difference, but we're also trying to use that power of the purse to send a message to the Obama administration and the EPA, let's allow our coal miners to get back to work in West Virginia.
Evan, you have really emerged as a great champion of coal miners and the people of this state, and I guess it must be pretty satisfying to be knowing that your work is making a difference in their lives.
Well, on Friday, over 1,000 coal miners sitting there saying thank you, and we appreciate them.
All right. Evan Jenkins.